Hello, Michael. Thank you for coming by today.
Am I in trouble?
Trouble? No. Why would you ask that?
Oh, no reason. Just it's just my roommate just got brought up on plagiarism charges last week. He swears he didn't do it. I suppose it just has me a little jumpy. Like, did I accidentally plagiarize or something?
Accidentally plagiarize?
You know, read something sometime somewhere and then it gets like lodged up in my subconscious and then it accidentally comes out on assignment. It happens.
Is that what your roommate said happened?
Yeah.
I see. Well, first off, Michael, that's not a thing. That is plagiarism. And second, I didn't ask you to stay after class to talk about plagiarism. Just the opposite, really.
Well, that's a relief.
Is it?
Well, what's the opposite of plagiarism? Originality, right? You think my work is original? That's what you want to talk about?
Michael, I want to talk about your short stories, which are indeed original and which I can spot from a mile away because they all share the same principal characteristic. Can you guess what that is?
Artful dialogue?
No, Michael.
Surprise endings?
No, Michael.
Original plots?
There is no plot in them. None. Nothing happens ever. No conflict, no resolution, no story.
Yes. And
What do you mean, yes, and? This is a fiction writing class.
but I don't like conflict.
What do you mean you don't like conflict?
I don't like it. It makes me nervous, sweaty. See, look at my hands. Just thinking about a fight or a disagreement makes me like physically anxious. I don't want to think about conflict.
You don't want to think about conflict. How are you a college student?
What do you mean?
You must be surrounded by conflict all the time. Romantic issues and dating and protesting and dealing with your childhood, having a religious crisis. For God's sake, college is fundamentally about conflict, Michael. College is plot.
Respectfully, Professor, I disagree.
You disagree. Please enlighten me.
Well, my roommate and I get along just fine. See, we filled out these forms during the summer, compatibility forms.
Compatibility forms?
Yeah, they made sure that we were compatible about all the things that mattered most. We go to sleep at the same time, 11 o'clock, have the same opinion about dirty dishes. We wash them right away. Have the same opinions about people staying over, one night only. Well, basically, we have the same opinion on everything.
So you don't fight at all.
No. What would we fight about? We are totally compatible.
I see.
And dating, well, I don't really date.
You don't date.
No one dates anymore. That's so like 1980s or something. Too much pressure. We just hang out. And if something happens, well, then it happens.
And if you don't date, I'm guessing that you don't break up.
Sometimes. That's what texting is for.
You break up by text message?
It's so much easier. You don't have to see their face or deal with all the crying or all the awkward, here's your stuff back. You just put their stuff outside, send them a text, and move on.
Sheesh. This happens to people.
Sure. No biggie. You just move on. Pick up your stuff off their porch, hang out with new people, see what happens.
A life with no conflict. I'm flabbergasted. But, Michael, is this a good thing?
Of course it is.
Well, surely you've been to a protest. This is still college.
Yeah, of course. My whole dorm goes together. Gotta fight the man, the patriarchy.
The patriarchy? Michael, you're a white guy, middle class, educated. You are the patriarchy, Michael.
The change starts here, Professor.
So you show up to protest yourself.
To learn about ourselves, our privilege, to do better, to be better, to take responsibility, change the future.
Then who's on the other side of the picket line?
The other side? No one. Why would someone else be there? It's internal work, Professor. We do it together.
A protest with no one on the other side. Hmm, Unbelievable. Okay. Well, surely now that you're in college, you've been dealing with your childhood. Surely there must be some conflict there, something you could write about. Old wounds, unresolved trauma, parents who just didn't understand you.
My parents? Oh, my parents are my best friends. They're awesome.
Your parents are your best friends. I find that unbelievable.
Why? We did everything together growing up, road trips and movie night. I had a rad childhood. I'd totally still live with them if the college allowed it. They always had my back.
You never fought with them.
Well, maybe like once when I was super little. But they had all these books: how to raise your kid without fighting, or how to help your child parent themselves. They had all these methods. It was cool. I turned out pretty good.
Your childhood was cool. And religion. Surely you've had some crisis with religion by now.
Not really. My parents and I went to a really, really progressive church. You didn't actually have to believe in anything. They preferred to let you decide on your own. Didn't want to shove it down our throats, you know? The Great Spirit wouldn't like that.
The Great Spirit.
Yes, the Holy Divine, the God in all of us, the Gentle Weaver.
What kind of church was this?
A little of everything, I guess. Some Native American and some Jewish, some Christian and some Buddhist. Well, we meditated a lot. Had like yoga church and stuff, nature Shabbat, sand meditation, earth Christmas.
So what do you actually believe in?
Love, Professor. Kindness. Being your best self. The earth.
Michael, I have to say I'm completely astounded. How have you gone through life with no conflict and no ability to handle conflict? Do you think that's healthy?
Healthy? Sure. It's great for your blood pressure. I'm very health conscious. Stress does terrible things to your body: kidney stones, cancer. Well, basically, it's all tied to stress.
Is it now?
Well, the science is still getting there. Oh, and then I have Jones, my emotional support cat, who is also good for my health. He helps me be more embodied, grounded in the moment. You know,
Emotional support cat. Why on earth would you need emotional support, Michael? Emotional support for what?
well, this conversation for starters, Professor. Remember my sweaty hands? I don't like talking about conflict. I'm very uncomfortable. You should have given me a warning, let me prepare.
Michael, I have no idea what to say to you or even how to teach you.
Yeah, I get that. You aren't the first. That's like basically every professor at this school. So, are we done here?
Are we done? We haven't even started. Hey, here's the bottom line, Michael. If you don't have conflict, you don't have a story. This is still a fiction writing class. Do you get that?
But why? With all due respect, Professor, that is the worst rule ever. Why can't a story be about a really interesting conversation between two friends? Or about people who like each other at work and collaborate? Or about a couple that doesn't fight? Why does it have to be about conflict? Not everything in life is about conflict.
Because this is a fiction writing class, Michael, not poetry, more personal essays, or your blog. This is for readers, and good writing is driven by conflict.
Well, I don't buy it. Respectfully, of course, but I really think you should rethink the class requirements.
Buy it. It has nothing to do with you buying it, Michael. These aren't my requirements. This is literature, for God's sake.
My hands are getting sweaty again, Professor. You really should have warned me that this was going to be a conflicted conversation. I would have brought Jones.
Michael, I'm going to lay it out for you. If you don't manufacture up some type of conflict for your next assignment, I'm going to fail you. How's that for conflict?
Well, Professor, that's unfair. I don't believe in conflict. I don't even know where to start.
Figure it out, Michael. Pick a fight with your roommate, with your parents, or your cat. I don't care, but put some conflict in. A story. I want to see an actual story.
I can't believe this.
Michael, these are the class requirements. Follow them, or I will fail you. That's it.
We'll see about that.
What does that mean?
My cousin? Oh, my cousin works here in Sesros. You know? Student Emotional Support and Resiliency Accommodation Services. She'll have my back. You'll see.
In what way? Are you actually threatening me, a tenured professor? And we have a Sesros office?
No, I like you, but you have to adapt, Professor. Tenure can be changed. You don't think we students can cancel that? Change the process? I'd hate for that to happen to you.
Cancel me? I don't even know what that means.
It's not good for students to have toxic professors, Professor. Professors who make us feel unsafe.
Michael, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I think it's time for you to leave.
Fine.
For a conflict avoidant young man, you sure learn quickly how to pick a fight.